За второй пояс подраться. Для меня, никому не секрет, тот парень, который сейчас 93, если в стойке с ним не заигрываться, для меня очень удобный соперник.
Pereira.
Да, все говорят. У меня всегда была психология такая, когда ты считаешь себя лучшим, тебе не должно быть разницы, с кем драться.
First thing I thought was, but it is a cool matchup, huh? It is a cool matchup to see Khamzat, see if he can get him down and stay safe. But I don't see it happening, but yeah, I get it.
After dominating DDP at UFC 319, Khamzat Chimaev is looking to catch another big fish and wants to fight Alex Pereira for the light heavyweight title. In a latest interview, Khamzat Chimaev has openly expressed his interest in challenging Alex Pereira for the light heavyweight title. He felt confident about that matchup, saying Pereira's power wouldn't be an issue for him. In his view, moving up in weight wouldn't affect his strength, and he believed he could handle Pereira as long as he stayed composed. While he preferred a title shot at 205, he mentioned he'd also be open to facing other contenders like Imavov, RDR, or Anthony Hernandez as long as the UFC compensated him properly.
Если спросить меня, мне, конечно, хочется за второй пояс подраться. Для меня, никому не секрет, тот парень, который сейчас 93, если в стойке с ним не заигрываться, для меня очень удобный соперник.
Pereira.
Да, все говорят, он слишком мощный парень, но где-то в мощи я нигде не уступал никому, поэтому я думаю, он тоже 84 выступал и перешел в 93. Хотелось бы 93 подраться, а так там Насруддина дадут, или Деридера дадут, или Эрнандеса. Мне особой такой разницы нет, чтобы самое главное заплатили хорошо.
However, after a dominant win at UFC 320, Alex Pereira is eyeing a fight against Jon Jones at the White House UFC card. Poden is confident to move up to the heavyweight division and become the first fighter to become champion in 3 different weight divisions in UFC history.
Essa é a melhor aposta?
Não, queria super luta.
No, I want a super fight.
Oh,
Ooh.
super fight at heavyweight.
I can think of one
Wow,
name.
Derek
that would,
Lewis. It's Aspinall, man.
Bom, não sei se Casa Branca, Jon Jones.
John
seria uma
Jones.
super luta.
Oh, at the White House.
Jon Jones. That's a super fight.
All right.
Dana White weighed in on Alex Pereira's move to heavyweight, highlighting that skipping 2 weight classes in the UFC is a much bigger challenge than in boxing. He pointed out that the light heavyweight division still has exciting fights and wondered if Pereira's jump might be influenced by thoughts of retirement.
What is your hesitation about him going up to heavyweight? He's mentioned it a few times in the past. He always wanted that Jon Jones fight, and I understand why maybe that fight wasn't appealing to you, but what is your reservations about sending him to heavyweight at this point?
Probably that he was a middleweight. He was a middleweight, and he's going to jump up 2 weight classes in the UFC. It's not like jumping up 2 weight classes in boxing. It's a big jump.
And as far as Yuri's performance,
And it's not that I have any reservations about it. I mean, the guy is he's in a division that there's still some interesting fights. I don't know. It's just I like the guy so much. We'll see. We'll have to talk about it. I just don't see why, unless he wants to retire, why throwing him in at heavyweight makes any sense. Other than I just end up saying he wants to do it so bad, I'll just say yes. I don't know.
Meanwhile, Reinier de Ridder believes that both Jon Jones and Khamzat Chimaev would be very difficult matchups for Alex Pereira. He pointed out that Pereira hasn't faced many top-level wrestlers or grapplers, with most of his past opponents being strikers. De Ridder felt that fighters like Jones and Chimaev could expose that gap in Pereira's game.
We talked about the Jon Jones thing. It's like Jon Jones is the worst matchup for Alex Pereira. Like, that is the worst.
Yeah, 100%.
And Chimaev isn't far behind there. That wrestling it's a nightmare for a guy like Pereira.
Yeah, exactly. And we haven't really seen what Alex can do because he's mostly been fighting strikers. Even Ankalaev is mostly a striker. But let me get some work with Khamzat first.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think I don't think the UFC didn't they weren't a super fight. I don't think they're actually making. But I thought it was funny. I give him credit too. You go for the biggest fight, and Alex is a big name, right?
That's true. That's definitely true.
Michael Bisping also reacted to Alex Pereira's desire to fight Jon Jones at the White House and shared that Pereira spoke to Dana White about moving to heavyweight. Bisping emphasized that Pereira's goal isn't just to face the winner of Cyril Gane versus Tom Aspinall. Pereira is targeting a major clash with Jon Jones. aiming for a high-profile fight against one of MMA's all-time greats.
What's next? Now, of course, he wants to go to heavyweight. Dana White said that he saw him at the Performance Institute on Friday. He told Dana face to face he wants to go to heavyweight, and you would assume that by going to heavyweight, he would mean wanting the winner of Cyril Gane versus Tom Aspinall, which goes down in just a couple of weeks. But that's not what he wants. He wants to take on Jon Jones at the White House, the greatest of all time, depending on who you ask, of course. We're not getting into that whole debate, but that's what Pereira wants.
Michael Bisping described a potential fight between Alex Pereira and Jon Jones as huge, but said he would rather see Pereira face Tom Aspinall or Cyril Gane, leaning toward Aspinall. He noted that a victory would make Pereira the first UFC fighter to win titles in 3 divisions, cementing his place among the sport's all-time greats.
Jones versus Pereira, okay? I mean, that's a huge fight. That's a big fight that a lot of people would want to see. But what would you rather see? But the fight that I would rather see is Alex Pereira going up against Tom Aspinall or Cyril Gane. More than likely, Tom Aspinall, let's be honest, he's probably going to win against Cyril. Alex Pereira has the opportunity to become a 3-weight division champion, something that no one's ever done. That's never happened. We've had many double champs. We've had several simultaneous double champs, but no one has gone through 3 different weight classes and became the champion. There will be no doubt that Alex Pereira would be the greatest undisputed fighter that ever competed in the UFC, because you can't argue with the fact that he was the champion in 3 different weight classes. And if he was to do that, that would be ridiculous.
Meanwhile, Henry Cejudo suggested a BMF-style clash between Jon Jones and Alex Pereira, even proposing it as a White House event headliner. He pointed out that while Jones might avoid Tom Aspinall, a fight with Pereira, now a bigger star after his latest win, would be a major spectacle. Cejudo added that it could serve as a fitting final fight for both athletes, creating a historic matchup.
I think what's next for Merab is the winner of Umar Nurmagomedov and Mario Bautista. I think because of that close fight that he did have with Umar, I mean I feel like it's well deserved, especially if he gets through a guy like Mario Bautista. And that, bro, the winner of this fight, Merab beats the winner out of this fight of Mario and Bautista. I think he should go up to 145 pounds. You know what? Call me crazy, Kush. But I do feel that if he does go up to 145 pounds, I think he could beat Alexander Volkanovski. I really do, man. If he's been able to do that to the majority of all of us, bro, imagine him feeling even better up a weight division. He could bring some problems to Volkanovski or anybody at 145 pounds, too.
Furthermore, Carlos Ulberg expressed admiration for Alex Pereira and hoped to see him win a 3rd UFC title, calling it a huge achievement. He praised Pereira's respectful attitude and fighting spirit, saying he relates to him as a true warrior. Ulberg also mentioned that while he supports Pereira's success, he'd love the chance to face him one day.
I really hope that Pereira gets his 3rd title, because that'd just be massive. He's a good dude. He doesn't trash talk or anything, and I see a lot of myself in someone like him. So he's a warrior, and I really hope that he gets that title. But I also hope that I get to fight him too.
It's a very impressive thing to hear you say, because if he does go up and fight for a 3rd belt, that means he's not fighting you anytime soon. So to hear you say that is pretty damn amazing, because obviously for your career, it would be huge to beat him and to fight him. So much respect. When you say that you see yourself in him, is it just the way in which he fights, or is it his upbringing? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, a little bit of everything. The upbringing, a little bit of his persona and his spirit. So yeah, there's a lot there that I feel that I can relate to. So there's a lot of respect there that I kind of just sit back and respect from afar. I'm not gonna sit here and give him all the jollies, but
fair enough.
I just.
On the other hand, Rainier de Ritter reacted to Khamzat Chimaev calling out Alex Pereira, saying his first thought was that the call out was, though he admitted it's still a cool matchup. He said it would be interesting to see if Khamzat could take Pereira down and stay safe, but he doesn't think it would happen. Despite that, De Ridder said he understands why Khamzat made the call out.
Khamzat Chimaev today, he called out Alex Pereira. Did you see this? He said, I want to go up to light heavyweight. What do you make of this when there's clearly such big fights happening right now and he hasn't even defended this belt yet?
Oh, well, to be honest, first thing I thought was as well, it is a cool matchup, huh? It is a cool matchup to see Khamzat, see if he can get him down and stay safe. But I don't see it happening, but yeah, I get it.
Reinier de Ridder also added that he isn't concerned about Khamzat Chimaev's call-out of Alex Pereira. He believes the UFC won't seriously consider moving Khamzat to light heavyweight and expects him to stay at middleweight. De Ridder added that if he performs well this weekend and finishes Brendan Allen, he expects to be fighting for the middleweight title by early 2026.
You always want to pursue the next big thing, but everyone's chasing someone else's dream, right? And you need the other person to help you get there.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. But you're hoping he sticks at 185. Like, it doesn't really seem like UFC is maybe going to seriously consider this. Pereira wants to go to heavyweight, apparently.
So everybody's moving up. No, I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. I imagine if I do well this weekend, I'm able to put Brendan away. I'll be fighting for the belt early 2026.
Meanwhile, Khamzat Chimaev also talked about his fight with Dricus du Plessis and admitted that the fight was easier than he expected. He explained that his wrestling and grappling gave du Plessis no space to fight back. Chimaev also pointed out that people often dismiss his wins over fighters like Whitaker and Usman by saying they were past their best. Yet those same fighters are praised again when they return strong.
Расскажи немного о своем настрое на этот поединок. Дрикус не был побежден в UFC, его преподносили как сильнейшего средневеса в мире. Понимал ли ты, что у тебя будет такое превосходство перед ним, перед боем?
Если честно, я думал, парень будет еще чуть-чуть посильнее. Не слабый боец, просто я вообще не дал ему поработать. Техника борьбы и грэпплинга у меня на другом уровне. Поэтому не получилось у него показать, чего он хотел. Он не простой боец. Я про Винтикера тоже, когда я его выиграл, челюсть там сломал, то все, слабый боец, постарел. И в последнем бою он показал против де Риддера. Ровный бой был 50 на 50, кому можно было отдать. Хороший боец. Тоже Усман, когда я выиграл, тоже все говорили, постарел там, то все. А сейчас уже претендент обратно на 7-7.
Reinier de Ridder also shared his thoughts about the Khamzat vs DDP encounter and said he was impressed by how dominant Khamzat Chimaev looked against Dricus du Plessis, admitting the performance exceeded his expectations. He called it a special display of skill that few fighters could replicate. However, de Ridder felt Khamzat could have taken a few more risks in certain positions to make the victory even more decisive.
Nah, I can definitely see both points. I was very surprised with how much in control he was, how dominant he was. I was very impressed. As a lover of the sport, it was very special to see what he did there. Something I did not expect, and I don't think a lot of people would be able to do to Dricus. But he got to a couple positions where he would have been able to hurt him a bit more. He could have taken a bit more of a risk, and it might have been even a bigger win for him if he did, but yeah.
Reinier de Ridder believes Dricus du Plessis shouldn't get an immediate rematch with Khamzat Chimaev unless he shows real progress in his jiu-jitsu. He mentioned that du Plessis needs to prove he can handle himself better on the ground before earning another shot. De Ridder added that a rematch might make sense only if the title changes hands, but based on the last fight, du Plessis still has work to do.
As far as Dricus, when he comes back, his camp's already said, listen, we need one big fight and then we're going straight back to the title. Do you see that happening, or do you think, like, sorry bro, after that performance you got to go to the back of the line?
It depends on who the belt has. I think if the belt can change hands, then he has a good shot to fight for it again, of course. But the Khamzat fight, he might have to demonstrate somewhat of an option when he gets to his back before he fights Khamzat again. So maybe he needs to let somebody take him down and show that he worked on his jiu-jitsu on bottom, but it wasn't good this time, no.
On the other hand, Alex Pereira has earned his back after regaining his belt at UFC 320, and the fans are waiting for his next step. However, there is also a big number of fans and pros who want a trilogy between Pereira and Ankalaev because of the rumors that Ankalaev was injured during their rematch.
You're offering me money, I'll take, no? Wow.
However, Alex Pereira reacts to reports about Magomed Ankalaev's rib injury, saying that if Ankalaev saw the injuries he's been fighting through, he'd feel terrible and might not even want to return. Pereira claims he could show his medical reports to prove that what he's endured is far worse, doubting Ankalaev has ever dealt with the kind of damage he's pushed through.
Sempre machuquei. E lesão, cara, é a mesma coisa. O Ankalaev fala agora de costela quebrada ou não sei o que ele tinha. Cara, se pegar as minhas lesões hoje, lutando com ele, cara, ele vai se sentir um merda. Ele não vai voltar mais pra lutar. Esse cara tava assim, puta, o que eu tô fazendo? O que eu tô fazendo dentro dessa organização? Deixa eu sair fora. Ele vai pedir as contas, velho. Eu nem vou falar. Aposto com ele, velho. Então, beleza, eu vou mostrar minhas médicas, resultado médico. Que eu tenho, que você tem. Eu duvido esse cara tá, porra, essas paradas que eu tenho, velho, entendeu?
Meanwhile, Jiří Procházka also noticed that Magomed Ankalaev didn't look like himself during the fight. He observed Ankalaev being unusually careful and holding back instead of moving forward with confidence. To him, Ankalaev's energy and rhythm felt completely different from what fans had seen before.
What did you see, I guess, spiritually in Ankalaev this time? Because there's been some videos come out. He suffered a rib injury, some injuries heading into the fight. Did you notice that? Like, did you feel like when you saw him at the PI or throughout the week, like, yeah, he doesn't seem like himself out there?
In PI, I didn't saw him to train too much, but I saw him before the fight and in the fight, and when I saw him, like, he's catching himself back, little step back. Then I saw, like, he's not right. Something's wrong. So something, like, he's so careful. Not like last time. He's going forward, up and down, changing levels, self-confident. He was not totally different person. Yeah.
Kamaru Usman expressed interest in a third fight between Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev, noting that neither fighter was at their peak in their previous rematch. He called for a rematch without excuses, describing it as a battle for all the marbles, and stressed that both athletes must come fully prepared to give their best performance.
Yes, of course, I would love to see the trilogy, because this Ankalaev Pereira didn't give us his best performance because there was something going on behind closed doors. Ankalaev didn't give us his best performance because there was something going on behind closed doors. This is for all the marbles. You have to govern yourself. I don't care what you're coming into this trilogy fight with. This is it. This is the trilogy fight. You have to govern yourself. We don't hear these things once you win, right?
Yeah. Kamaru Usman noted that both Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev lost their titles in challenging situations and insisted that no excuses should be allowed in a rematch. With the White House card in June giving plenty of preparation time, he believes the trilogy could be impressive. Usman also praised Ankalaev's all-around skills and suggested that if the third fight doesn't happen, a bout between Ankalaev and Jiří Procházka would be an exciting alternative.
So Pereira loses the title. We heard what happened, right? Now Ankalaev lost the title, and we're hearing what happened. So the third fight, I do believe, is for all the marbles. You have to govern yourself to get to the fight as healthy as possible. This is part of our job. This is what makes our job so damn hard, is to govern yourself and try to get in there as healthy as possible, because there's no excuses, especially if that trilogy fight happens. And I think potentially it could happen, because the White House card is not until June. Right now, we're in the beginning of October, November, December, January, February. That's almost 8 months away. So is Pereira willing to sit for 8 months to wait for that card? I don't know. So Ankalaev, I do think Ankalaev is extremely talented. I do think he one of the most well-rounded guys in that division, if not the most well-rounded guy in that division. And so I would love to see a trilogy. If not, then Ankalaev and Jiří Procházka, I think is a damn good fight.
Daniel Cormier already confirmed that Magomed Ankalaev entered the rematch with Alex Pereira while dealing with a rib injury. He explained that Ankalaev had received an injection to manage the pain and was limited to light training for several weeks. Despite being advised by those around him to withdraw, Ankalaev insisted on competing, determined to face Pereira again. Daniel Cormier said Magomed Ankalaev did have a rib injury. This is not a lie, this is not an excuse. I know this because prior to the fight, I saw a video getting injection to his ribs to try to help him get to the fight. He was able to hit pads and do cardio for essentially a month and a half. There are many people close to Ankalaev that said to him not to fight, he wanted to beat Pereira again. So, this is all we have from today's video, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Share your thoughts in the comment section, and subscribe to our channel to get more updates about the UFC.